Ladies and gentlemen, Mollusk here, bringing you another Warhammer Fantasy Battle Report, this time facing off against my old rival Cog and his Orcs and Goblins. The keen-eyed among you may notice that I forgot all my terrain, however we've spared no expense with the replacements. The mini amp is a dwarven brewery, the catnip we've spread all over the table is a marsh, the Earthblood Marsh. This is a river, good old cling film there, these flowers are a forest, and this spin the bottle box is a building. I was really excited for this game because I'm bringing my new improved Wallgor list and I really want to see what it can do, and I've told my opponent I'm going to try to go all out and play the best I can for this game. As usual, neither of us know what we're bringing before the game starts or what the other is bringing. I mean, he knows I'm playing Beastmen, but beyond that it's all a mystery. So despite me bringing what I consider to be a tough as nails list, my opponent, Cog, has brought what he considers to be a fun one, and we'll see what happens. You may notice my deployment seems a bit strange. That's because the mission made us deploy randomly, and I rolled all 1s and 2s pretty much, which has split my army nicely in two. On my left flank, Tuskor Chariot, Razorgor, Wallgor unit. In my centre, Razorgor, Tuskor Chariot. On my right flank, Razorgor, Bestigor, and Normal Gore unit. Yep, it's getting pretty crowded over here. On the left, facing my Wallgor unit, Cog has a unit of 70 Night Goblins, he hasn't put them all on yet, some River Trolls, a Snotling Pump Wagon. In his centre, Archer Horde, Boar Boy Riders. On the right flank, Savage Orc Boys with level 2, a Wolf Chariot, Grom the Paunch, Wolf Riders, Mangler Squig, level 4 on Wyvern, and another Mangler Squig. I should probably just mention that my Battle Standard Bearer and level 4 are over here, and my General and level 2 are over here. Fun times. The Wolf Riders vanguard out, as you see. And here we go. I give the first turn to my opponent, and the archers fail their animosity and can't do anything. In compulsory movement, the pump wagon moves up a little bit, blocking the trolls, and the squigs go hell for leather at my lines. And this is exactly why I gave him the first turn. In the rest of movement, there isn't much. The savage boars move up a little bit, the trolls have failed their stupidity, and the night goblins move up into the mire to get lots of regen. In the magic phase, he gets 9 dice, I get 6. He casts Foot of Gork, I scroll it. He casts Hand, and I dispel it. In the shooting phase, the Doom Diver catapult misfires and shoots its goblin off the table. And with the archers squabbling, that's it for the orcs. In the Beastmen Turn, I declare a charge with my Razorgor, and he makes it. Into the pump wagon, we find out that the river is a raging torrent. The Razorgor passes its dangerous terrain and gets +3 initiative. On the other flank, the chariot charges the savage boars. And looking at this, I should have gone for the Shaman, but I wasn't thinking. In movement, I move up like so. My plan is to hold this flank down whilst my general and the other units win the right. The chariot's going up the flank to railroad his big unit, and then get the charge on the Doom Diver if it survives. The Wallgor are here, daring him to charge me across the river, take dangerous terrain and lose all his ranks. I want to run this Razorgor round the back and double team the Doom Diver, because either it or the chariot has got to make it through. And I'm hopeful this Razorgor will clear the pump wagon out of the way, hold off the trolls, and I can send my Wallgor into the flank of those goblins. That's the plan. Over here, my Razorgor nobly sacrifices itself and jumps on the squig. The Gore go into the building and the Bestigor shuffle. And that's a picture of how things are shaping up. In Magic, we use the Reign of Chaos, because we're a Chaos Legion. And I feel bad about this, but I did say I was going to try to go all out. We roll up Khorne's Blast templates, and nothing happens. In Magic, I put Wiston's Wild Form on the chariot. He lets it go. I try to put Savage Beast on the Wallgor, and he dispels. I then put Curse of Unra here on the Goblins. In combat, the Razorgor and the Pump Wagon wound each other. I think the Pump Wagon actually did 2 wounds to the Razorgor, so we draw combat. But over here, the Wild Form Chariot breaks and runs down the Savage Boars. Just brilliant. Orcs turn 2. The Trolls fail a charge into the Razorgor because they can't physically make it. Orc leadership prepares to bum rape the chariot. And that's fun, it's more than done its job, and they even lost another boar in the river. The Wolf Riders slip round the back, and we discover that Mangler Squigs can't get at units in buildings. So the goatees are safe for now. In Magic, Cog gets 2 dice to my 1 and casts Here We Go on Grom. And then in shooting, the archers can't hurt the Razor. We go into combat, and yeah, I forgot to mention that he wanted this chariot dead so much that he declared a at the beginning of this turn. Perhaps inadvisable, but now the chariot is super dead, although it did take a bull rider or two with it. Well done, chariot. Everyone restrains and reforms like so. Over here, the Razor puts a wound on the pump wagon chariot and takes nothing in return. It takes a wound for unstable, but we think it's got more than 3 wounds at this point, and so everything continues on. In the Beastmen Turn, the chariot tries to move past the goblins and springs the fanatics. This fanatic doesn't quite make it, and that wound you see on the chariot was done by the Doom Diver in the previous turn. The other fanatic, however, makes it over the river and smashes into my Wallgor. It kills a few gore and pops out behind. The chariot continues its move just up behind the goblins, or beside the goblins I should say. The Wallgor shuffle just a little bit, and with the pump wagon combat still holding things up in the middle, the other Razor runs around the back to get into the Doom Diver. Over here, I can't have that mangler in my besticle, so the level 2 Ray Shaman sacrifices himself, and they drag each other to hell. In the rest of movement, the Gore exit the building, and the besticle hide behind the forest. We go into magic, and the Dark Prince thirsts, and he thirsts for the Fanatic and the Doom Diver. The phase was 8 dice to 4. I fail Pan's Pelt on 4 dice by rolling 3 ones, and in my magic phase. In this blurry combat, no one does anything to each other, and we move on into Orcs turn 3. The Boar Boys and the Chariot charge the Gore. Over on the left, in compulsory movement, this little bugger moved up through my chariot, just clipping it, destroyed it, and managed to miss the gigantic bus of goblins. The goblins then swift reformed, as you see here. No one wants to be the one to cross that river, and the goblins are happy where they are in their regen mire. Tired of being left out of all the fun, the trolls turn around to look at the Razor. We go into magic, and it's 12 dice to 6. He throws 6 dice at foot, putting it on the Bestigor, but I use all my dice to dispel. Phew, that spell is so dangerous. So with the rest of the phase to himself, he casts Here We Go on the archers for some reason, and then Hand of Gorks the trolls to the flank of my Wallgor. And I'm not actually too bothered about that. Over here we realise the Razor has triggered a Fanatic, and the pig takes another wound. The first one was for its dangerous terrain through the river. In combat, the Gore get pulverised. I was expecting them to hold, but the chariots just do so much damage on the charge. In fact, the Bull Riders are pretty fearsome with their +2 strength. I was steadfast on a 7 because my general was 1 inch out. Really dumb mistake that, and they flared and fled off the table. Really dumb on my part. Over here, the undead pump wagon kills the Razor. And then we go into Beastmen turn 3, and the Bestigor get revenge by charging the Boar Boys, and I think this will go well. The Wallgor swift reform and shuffle backwards. The pig decides to make a pain of itself and shuffles in front of the pump wagon. And my positioning here is really stupid, because it's giving the pump wagon an overrun straight into my Gore unit, which was exactly the thing I was trying to avoid. In the magic phase, the Reign of Chaos is a 10, which doesn't do anything for Beastmen. So I've got 10 dice, he's got 5. I cast Pelt and he dispels, and then I cast Savage Beast with Irresistible Force and kill like 4 Gore. Over here, my champion dies in a challenge to the Boar Boss, but the Bestigor eat the rest of the unit. And we overrun into Grom. And this was one of those overruns where the measure is just kissing the base of each unit. And thankfully, we're not a pair of guys who quibble over millimetres, and the Bestigor make the overrun. Orcs turn 4, the pump wagon charges the Razor, but neither the goblins nor the trolls have the guts to face strength 8, 6 attack Wallgor. And I can't really blame them. To be honest, I'm feeling a bit of a wimp myself, because I probably should have gone into the goblins with the hero unit by now, as the Rither doesn't really bother me. And I think I should do well, but my unit is a lot of points, and I've got a very healthy respect for these giant goblin units, and I haven't managed to pluck up the courage either. Over on this flank, the Wolf Riders tried desperately to save Grom by charging the rear of the Bestigor, and the chariot moves up to get into action in the next turn. In magic, he 5 dices Foot of Cork on this unit and fails. In shooting, the Goblin Boys do amazingly and plink off like 4 of my Gore. And in combat, the undead pump wagon kills my Razor with its crazy impact hits, overruns across the river and dies to dangerous terrain. Over here, my General Mollusk, the Beast Lord, challenges Grom, who accepts. I do a couple of wounds to the fat goblin, but can't quite kill him. The Bestigor kill a few wolves and win combat. The wolves stick, but Grom flees for the hills, robbing me of the attention of the gods. Beastmen turn 4. The Wallgor declare a charge on the trolls, who flee. I'd need a 10 to catch them. I don't bother, so I restrain pursuit. In Magic, the Dark Prince thirsts, and he really loves them fanatics. Kind of annoying. I'd hoped it would go into one of his goblin bricks. So the phase is 8 dice to his 6. I 4 dice curse. And bear in mind, I'm casting this with a level 4. I only just managed to get it off. And he easily dispels. I then 4 dice pelt with irresistible force. And kill a load more gore. And I really probably shouldn't have bothered casting this spell. Oh well. In combat, we easily kill the Wolf Riders. And then in Orcs and Goblins turn 5, the sneaky chariot gets around behind my gore unit. And that's just dirty. In the Magic phase, it's 10 dice to 6. He 6 dices Foot of Gork, and I dispel it with my 6 dice. And this is always so tense, because if he gets that spell off, there's a good chance he'll just wreck my army. So with the Magic phase all to himself, he Hand of Gorks his trolls over to the flank of my Bestigor. And that is such a great spell too. And there's a bit of a look at that happening. I think he also successfully 1 dices Gaze on the Wallgors, but doesn't make the range. In shooting, the archers have moved a little bit closer, and 30 shots takes down another gore. Beastmen turn 5. This isn't a good place to be, so I swift reform. In the centre, my Wallgor are very unhappy about the lack of blood they've been getting, and charge the goblins. They take 2 gore deaths from the archers' stand and shoot, 2 more die in the river, and both Monty, my BSB, and Twiskin, my level 4 Shaman, fail their dangerous terrain and take wounds. Bloody hell. In Magic, the Reign of Chaos result is a 10, so I can't use it, and I channel, so it's 11 dice to 5. I cast Curse of Armpit Hair on his Night Goblin boss on the left flank, and I cast Savage Beast, and he scrolls it. William the Gruff bellows a challenge, and the Goblin unit champion for some reason declines. And we then proceed to do a metric butt-ton of kills. Re-rolling to hit and wounding on 2s, I think we killed about 20 goblins. But there's a fair number of goblins left, and they allocate wounds. My Wallgor unit is an absolute nightmare to keep track of, so I made little hero cards for them, and it really made this part of the combat easier. He put all of his attacks that he could on the banner, allocated a couple to Paddy McGinty, and was forced to put the rest on William the Gruff. So for Monty and Paddy, he needs 5s followed by 6s, and then I get a 4-up, 6-up armor save. And for William, he needs 6s to hit because of the defence's blades, and then 6s to wound, and then a 5-up save. Despite all of that, the goblins slip 1 wound through. And they slip it through on Monty, the battle standard bearer, who is the most expensive man in that unit, barring the level 4. Come on, Monty, they're goblins! But despite that tragic loss, the goblins need Snake Eyes to stay, they don't get it, they run pathetically, we chase pathetically, and we move finally into turn 6. The Bestigor gets spit roasted, and the battle is going to hinge on this combat. The goblins squabble, the archers fail to rally, but also fail to run off the table, and the level 4 on the Wyvern just moves over here. The Magic phase is 10 dice to 6. He's 6 dices Foot of Gork. This thing is going to do D3 wounds to each of my heroes in this unit if they fail their Lookout Sirs. This is fucking scary. He doesn't miscast, I use 6 dice, and I managed to dispel this thing one last time. So lucky. He uses the rest of his dice to bubble "Here we go" on all the units in this combat. And it's pretty brutal. The Black Orc gets into a challenge with my Beast Lord. Mollusk smacks the Orc around a bit, but can't quite put the last wound through. The Trolls in the chariot kill 8 Bestigor, and we kill a Troll in return. The Beastmen lose combat, but thanks to the Banner of Discipline, hold. Oh, Steadfast helped as well. In Beastmen turn 6, with nothing else to do, the Wallgor charge the archers off the table and get those points. And with my wizard off the table, we go straight into combat. Although I probably should have got the Reign of Chaos, but I forgot about it. The epic duel between the Black Orc and the Beast Lord continues. And with a savage bleat, Mollusk beheads his foe. And finally the gods take notice and grant him a extra point of toughness. In the rest of combat, we don't take too many more casualties. Put 5 wounds on the Trolls, and I've just realised that I forgot completely to attack the chariot in both rounds of combat. What an idiot. Regardless, we win combat, the chariot breaks, and the trolls break. We pursue the trolls, and they run 10. And I roll 9 to catch them. Oh, so close. The level 4 passes his panic check, and there it is, guys. The end of the game. This was such a tense game. I was really trying to win, but it was really draining trying to remember all the rules my Wallgor have. And it was nail-biting stuff, just trying to keep them alive. I really didn't want to send them through a river into 70 regenerating goblins. And I think they could have done it, but if they couldn't, he's just killed half my army. So in the end it was the good old Bestigor that held the day and did the work on the right flank. Just can't fault those guys. This game was a blast, and my opponent was fantastic as ever. But I've got to be honest, I'm a little bit disappointed. I'd hoped I could do better than this, especially against a not particularly optimised army, and this game felt hard. But it's early days yet with the Wallgor, and I hope with a bit more experience I can get them working more effectively. But yeah, thanks for watching, and all that's left is to check out the scores.